Okay, here's the GRC-122 shelter I just rescued from DRMO, the junk pile. And let's see, here's the back of it. Right there's the power input cables. There's a 28 volt and a 110 volt input cable. There's the door. Let's go inside. Okay, almost everything is here. There's the GRC-106 HF radio. That was 400 watts, 2 to 30 megahertz. Right in the middle, obviously what's missing, that was a secondary receiver and a modem for the teletypes. That thing up there on the right, that's kind of missing, that would have been an optional spot for crypto. Down in the middle here, oh, here's the chair sitting on top of the antenna masts. So you go past that. Right there is where a teletype would have been. That's the 28 volt power supply. It takes 110, converts to 28 volts. Right here on the right is where another teletype would have been. There's a electric heater, and there's a RF schematic and a power schematic. Those are the vents for air conditioning if you're hooked up to a separate trailer. That gray bus with the meters, that's the power distribution bar. And see, back over here on the left under the radio, that would have been another spot for another optional cryptographic unit. Coiled up there is an antenna cable and a dipole connection. In the bag right here, that's a GRA-50 dipole kit. Here's another GRA-50 dipole kit. Spool of field wire. See down here on the left, there's the boarding ladder to put on the tailgate of the truck. And down here at the bottom, there's the speaker for the radio. And then that funny looking thing, that's a dynamotor power supply. That takes 28 volts in, converts it to 110, as you see by the outlets. Over here on the right, there's another one of those guys down here. And then there's the field phone. Underneath it, there's another field phone. This one right here, it's connected into the system. It's wired in. Let's see, speaking of field phone, over here on the left, there's the remote connection. That allows you to put field wire connected to that thing, and that actually runs that radio by a remote over field wire. Unfortunately, the teletypes are missing, otherwise this would be even cooler. Let's see, back over here on the left, inside the door, there's a gasoline-fired heater. Can you imagine that, huh? Gasoline-fired heater. Sounds kind of dangerous. Up there, that's an SWR power meter. That's connected into the radio. That tells you how much power and reflected power you're putting out if you're running a dipole, a big wire antenna. This big connection hanging right here, this orange guy, that screws on there and goes out to the corner of the shelter if you run a whip antenna, basically like a big vertical. And it's set up to run a 15-foot whip. That's about the only thing that this thing didn't come with, was a whip antenna. And there's 3 mast kits down here on the floor. There you go. They're sitting all the way to the back and underneath the chair all the way to here. So basically, let's give you a good overview here. You just kind of scan it through. And there's the radio and the bottom, everything in there. Now we'll come over here to the door real quick. Here's the tag. I was reading through this thing. Look at that. 1981. I don't know if you can actually see that or not. 1981. This thing's been sitting around a long time. And doesn't it look practically new inside? Beautiful. And then we got these storage boxes down here. Underneath this, there's storage boxes. Look at that. Here's a flashlight. Check that out. You can probably read that. Flashlight, 1 each. Military flashlight in the box. There's all the extra cable connectors and cables and ground straps. And over here and the one next to it, underneath the desk, there's those are tripod adapters. And then there's a microphone, and there's a handset back there and a headset. Then on the left side over here, back over here underneath the gas-fired heater, there's a couple of boxes. This one over here is an extra speaker box. This one here is another remote control unit, still in the box, never used. This here is for a jerry can to attach for your gasoline or diesel or something like that, and it plugs into the outside of the shelter to run this gas-fired heater right here. I don't think I'll ever try and run that. I don't think I need to anyway. Over in this one right here, there's all the manuals right here, a whole stack of them. Look at all these things. And then this box right here, see, I read that a couple of minutes ago. What was that? Oh, that's another field phone. And then you see there's another handset in there as well. So this thing, there you go. There's 1, 2, 3 wire antenna setups. And then your speaker down there, dynamotor, remote control, 400 watt HF radio called the GRC-106. I believe that thing was invented in the late 50s and was the mainstay of the big HF radios through Vietnam. And there's a blower. That blower blows air through the ducting on top of that radio to keep it cool. It puts out so much power. Heats up pretty good. Another distribution panel back there for all the teletypes. So Teletype went right there and right over here. Unfortunately, like I said, in fact the wires are cut right there. You can see where the Teletype was just yanked out of here. And this thing basically is a huge box of a radio station, and it weighs about 2,000 pounds, although it ain't quite as much. Each Teletype was 100 pounds and they're missing. The modem and the auxiliary receivers probably a good 150 to 200 pounds and they're missing. So we could probably chalk up 400 pounds missing out of this box. And down there, there's the you see all them cables. That's how they would actually hook to all the corners of this box and lift it up with a crane. So there you go. There's the junk I just picked up at DRMO. And one of these days I want to go through all the connections and hook it up and see if that radio works and maybe get it on the air. And maybe you can look for me. My call sign is Kilo India 6 Echo Zulu Alpha. And have a good day. Out.